What strategies can organizations implement to ensure that their AI models remain ethical and accountable as they evolve?
Yeah, and that's a great question, Jess. But in general, all models go stale, right? The longer you just use it and don't train it or update it, they go stale, right? And let's take LLMs for instance, right? ChatGPT 3.5 had a specific cutoff date, so it didn't know anything newer than a specific date. Well, if I'm using it for something of current events for some reason, or talking about the history of someone, and 2 years later I happen to use ChatGPT 3.5, I shouldn't expect it to understand the last 2 years or whatever period of time that was of that information. These models become stale, and so basically what they do is that they evaluate the model. So we talk about Shapley numbers, Owen values, bias in datas and data sets coming in. But apparently, what we really need to be able to do is be able to figure out what is relevant to you and what is stale to you. Because again, how you use the data and how you use these models is really pivotal. And then based off that construct, so for example, let's say I'm using ChatGPT, let's just say a large language model and generative AI, and I'm using it to calculate or forecast what I think the house prices are going to be. Well, am I then going to be bothered? I certainly wanted to have the latest house prices or be able to put that in as context. But would I be as worried about the fact that it doesn't have, world events being populated in there, or other things pet related, or plants related, or whatever that information happens to be? So it is context, really. And then being able to figure out if your model is old, too old. And the only way you can do that is to be able to see the data coming in and compare it with the data that's coming out and saying, is this even appropriate? What has come out, is that old? Should there be a better answer? And then at that point, you reevaluate. So the concepts in AI would be model monitoring, is what they call that. And you would compare that to the data coming in and what the answers being produced out. And that's how you dictate whether a model needs to be trained or updated as a result.